Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines we're tracking for you this evening. No Monday blues on the Lal Street. The sensex gains over 400 points. Nifty reclaimed 17,700 despite coming off intraday highs. Bank stocks underperformed today. Adani Group continues to gain for the fifth session. 8 of the 10 group stocks end in the green. The group adds over 2 lakh crore rupees in market cap in the last 5 sessions. LIC chairman tells CNBC-TV18 they're confident about the business prospects of the group. The government is currently holding discussions on a possible hike in the 5 lakh life insurance premium annual threshold, which will be subjected to taxes. However, no decision has been taken yet. That's an exclusive. The U.S. Center for Disease Control has linked the deaths of the at least 70 Gambian children due to acute kidney failure last year to cough syrups manufactured by Indian company Maiden Pharma. Their report highlights that cough syrups were imported into Gambia, causing acute kidney injury cases among children. The Indian government gave a clean chit to Maiden Pharma last year. China sets a modest economic growth target of 5% as its national legislature begins their annual session. The session is all set to ratify President Xi's third term and implement crucial reforms. Premier Li said that China's defense budget has been hiked by over 7%. No relief for Manish Sisodia in the Delhi excise policy case just yet. A special court sentences him to judicial custody till the 20th of March. After CBI says they do not demand further custody, sends him to Tihar jail. But straight to the market action. The sensex gaining over 400 points today, and the Nifty put on about 120 points as the Lal Street began the week on a positive note. The Nifty did manage to regain 17,700 despite coming off its intraday high in late trade. Bank stocks, though, underperformed today. Surabhi is standing by to take us through the wrap of the market action. It's a truncated week, Surabhi, but a strong start.
Well, the bulls are going into the holy holiday on a pretty buoyant green note, you can say that. And that's because after what was a strong Friday, we got a good follow-through on Monday. Now, the nitpickers will say that the market shaved off some of the gain by the end of the trading day. But I'll tell you why the bulls won't be too disappointed with that. Because number one, this was a very wide move. It was cutting across sectoral lines. And it was a move which saw mid-caps participating as well. It wasn't just a few group of large caps or a clutch of large cap stocks, blue chip stocks that was taking the market higher. The Nifty, by the way, has crossed the 20 DMA today. It crossed the 200 DMA on Friday itself, and today it's taken out the 20 DMA. So continues that upward trajectory. Let's talk about the constituents. PSUs are a big theme in this market. This government capex theme is finding steady takers. And today, you had so much action in stocks like an ONGC, an Oil India, Power Grid, NTPC. So this was a very solid theme. IT and autos saw some buying. That reflects in if I talk about the Nifty gainers list. So you had Tata Motors with good numbers from UK, JLR sales coming through. You had an Infosys and a TCS. You had Reliance contributing. You had an HDFC Bank contributing. So very diverse in terms of the up move, in terms of the leadership of the rally. Metals saw some profit taking after the big run-up. That was evident in stocks like Hindalco, TCS, etc. And then we had, of course, the Adani Group, which saw some follow-on buying, though the gains cooled off on stocks like Adani Ports or Adani Enterprises. Must mention Mahanagar Gas, by the way. They've done their first ever acquisition and the stock was flying away, one of the best mid-cap stories in today's market action. Well, the litmus test for this market, of course, is going to be when it comes back from the holy holiday and actually gets in towards the weekend. Friday, we get the non-farm payrolls data from the U.S. Now, it is that report that triggered the move in the 10-year yield a month back. We need to see if the numbers are going to be a little more sanguine this time and whether yields will remain in check. But until then, the bulls can get into the holy holiday on an optimistic note.
All right, Surabhi, many thanks for joining us. Now, the government has hiked the windfall tax on crude petroleum from 4,350 rupees per tonne to 4,400 rupees per tonne. However, it has decided to reduce the special additional excise duty on aviation turbine fuel from ₹1.50 per litre to 0 and from 2.5 rupees per litre to 50 paise per litre for diesel. The windfall tax on petrol continues to be nil. Here's a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. The government has been holding discussions on providing some relief on taxing annual life insurance premium beyond 5 lakhs. Yash joins us now with more. Yash, what are your sources telling you? Is there any further movement on this front?
Well, since the time the budget announcement was made on taxing long-term savings policies, there were several questions. Initially, they were on the model of this taxation itself, but one question which persisted was that who gets to choose what policy gets taxed once that 5 lakh limit is breached. What we've been given to understand from our sources is that that very question is still, there very much existent as far as the policy makers are concerned. The government is seeking views in terms of making it clear and giving additional clarity in terms of who gets to choose which policy gets taxed in case the 5 lakh limit is breached. Not just that, we've also been given to understand that the government is also considering views when it comes to raising that threshold of 5 lakh rupees when it comes to taxation on long-term savings policies. Of course, there were several representations which were made by the industry itself, the industry bodies, to the finance minister and the government, essentially seeking a higher threshold when it comes to taxing life insurance policies. The government is at this point of time considering all those views. Whether that limit has to be 7 lakh or even 10 lakhs are the 2 points which are under consideration. Of course, no final decision has been made so far, but it will be interesting to see the course of events as far as these 2 important changes are concerned.
All right. Well, we will have to wait to see whether any changes are brought in when the finance bill is moved in Parliament. Now, the Centre for Disease Control and Prevention, America's public health agency, has linked the death of at least 70 children in Gambia to cough syrups likely to have been manufactured by Indian company Maiden Pharma. The US CDC report published on the 3rd of March highlights that their investigation strongly suggests that medications contaminated with diethylene glycol or ethylene glycol imported into Gambia led to acute kidney injury cluster among children. The Indian government had given a clean chit to Maiden Pharma. Ekta Batra standing by with more. Ekta.
The US Center for Disease Control has linked the death of at least 70 children last year to medicines contaminated with diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol. The report suggests the cough syrups were likely to be manufactured by Indian company Maiden Pharma that were imported into Gambia, causing acute kidney injury cases amongst the children. The Indian government has given a clean chit to Maiden Pharma in December last year. The US CDC report follows a report by the government panel in Gambia in December last year that recommended prosecution of the Indian manufacturer of the cough syrups. The WHO, remember, had issued an alert in October of last year advising regulators to stop the sale of the syrups in question. In what highlights the possible linkage to Maiden Pharma, the US CDC in their report says that all the caregivers interviewed had reported that the child in their care had consumed a prescription or over-the-counter syrup-based medication. And while many caregivers they interviewed were unable to recall the names of the medications that were administered, a single international manufacturer that produced a syrup-based medication was reported by 8 of the 14 caregivers in question. Further on, the lab analysis of 23 samples conducted by Gambia's Ministry of Health and WHO confirmed that 4 products from Maiden Pharma contained the contaminants, and all medications had tested positive from the substance were imported into Gambia on June 21st of last year, shortly before the occurrence of the first case of acute kidney injury. The CDC says this was one of the first documented DEG outbreaks in which contaminated medicines were imported. It aims to point to a larger concern of DEG mass poisonings continuing to occur globally, especially in low-resource settings. For example, such cases have been documented in Panama, Nigeria, India, and Haiti. In the past, manufacturers have been suspected of substituting DEG in place of safer but more expensive pharma-grade solvents. According to US CDC, these DEG-associated large-scale poisoning events can be strengthened via international regulatory structures in place in the pharmaceutical industry and surveillance systems that could be event-based.
Ekta, many thanks for joining us. Now, the centre has recommended UP's drug regulator to cancel the manufacturing license of Marion Biotech. The decision comes after the state's Drug Controlling and Regulatory Authority found 22 of the 36 testing samples adulterated with ethylene glycol. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 the regulators have also directed Marion Biotech to recall its products from abroad. Adani Group, the stocks gaining for the fifth day. 8 out of the 10 group stocks except Ambuja and ACC ending in the green. The group also added 30,000 crore rupees of market cap in this session. It has added market cap worth over 2 lakh crore rupees in the last 5 trading sessions. Seema Modi spoke with Rajiv Jain of GQG after their investment of over 15,000 crores in the Adani Group. Jain said they did their due diligence before making the big bet.
Accusations of fraud and stock price manipulation not stopping Rajiv Jain, the $92 billion U.S. asset manager, from investing in Adani, the embattled industrialist. Jain, the CIO of GQG Partners, who resides in Florida, telling CNBC in an exclusive broadcast interview he read the Hindenburg report, but his own research has led him to believe that Adani's infrastructure portfolio is a good bet.
We've read the report, but at the end of the day, we get paid to do our own research, and we did our own work, and we had slightly different opinion. We followed some of these names for actually almost 5 years. We never did anything, but after doing our due diligence, we talked to some of the bankers, we talked to some of their partners, and actually, it's kind of remarkable how consistent the feedback was. In fact, one of the largest bankers to them, we asked them point blank, would you ever give them more money? He said, of course we would.
Now, Jain's $1.9 billion investment into 4 of Adani's companies, sending shares of Adani Enterprise, Adani Ports higher on the week. And it comes as India's Supreme Court has opened an investigation into Adani's practices. It's a unique investment for Jain, though, who's best known for investing in safe, stable growing companies in the tobacco and energy space. He bought ExxonMobil in the summer of 2021, but he pointed to the drop in the stock price and Adani's assets from the Mumbai airport to India's largest port, which he says will only grow more valuable as the country prioritizes new reforms. Separately, I am hearing that Adani is headed on a roadshow to Europe and the U.S. to market his bonds to fixed income investors in the coming weeks.
Well, that is Seema Modi's conversation with Rajiv Jain of GQG Partners on their investments in the Adani Group. Meanwhile, LIC chairperson M.R. Kumar is upbeat about the Adani Group's business prospects. He says he's met the Adani top management and believes that the growth outlook looks positive. Take a look.
I can only confirm that the conversation has happened with the department, but there's nothing I can state as of now, the outcome of that meeting. But yes, we have had the meeting.
Are you more confident than you were about a month ago on the business prospects, not the stock price, the business prospects?
I believe so. We are quite happy about the meeting.
Well, that is LIC. We will head into a break, but up next, Sandeep Patel, the MD of IBM India, joins me in an exclusive conversation on the India growth blueprint, the acceleration of AI and more. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with Business 360. Tech adoption in the country continues to accelerate with the advent of artificial intelligence, machine learning and more. ChatGPT and Google's Bard are being seen as the next big disruptors in the tech space. Companies are focusing on digitizing their businesses to bring in operating efficiencies. And this is where tech biggies like IBM have a huge opportunity. To speak more about this transformation and joining us now for the roadmap for India is Sandeep Patel, Managing Director at IBM India. Sandeep, many thanks for joining us here on CNBC-TV18. Let me start by asking you about what we are seeing as far as the global environment is concerned and its impact, if any, for IBM in India. Many tech companies, including IBM, have announced that they are going to be downsizing their global workforce. IBM has said about 1.5% of its global workforce will be trimmed. That was an announcement in January 23. Is India going to be impacted by that?
So at IBM India, we haven't stopped hiring. We are continuing to grow. And IBM India continues to be a major part of IBM's overall growth strategy, be it for clients or for our talent.
Okay, so India not impacted by that, and you continue to be in hiring mode here. So let's talk about the priorities, and let's also talk about the market here in India. Are you seeing any slowdown, any holding back as far as spending is concerned at this point in time? And what will the growth priorities be for you in this market as we move forward?
So look, I mean, I just want to set the context that when you think about technology, I think continues to be a sutradhar that will continue to move us into Suvarna Bharat and really make this the technology, innovation and talent capital of the world. So from that perspective, I think we will continue to see a growth in technology. And as businesses continue to invest in technology transformation, I believe that technology in many respects will act as a deflationary force for whatever issues that we might see coming up in the economy. Now, relative to where we see technology growing, I think I've shared this with you. We have a very focused strategy on hybrid cloud, AI, underpinned by a very strong layer of security. Because I do believe that AI is here to stay. We see data sets that are growing around us, and using AI, and I know there's a lot of talk about ChatGPT, Bard, and so on and so forth, but I think we need to think about AI as a way in which it enables businesses to connect with their end clients a lot better, how it enables us to drive more automation and actually augment human intelligence and make employees a lot more productive across any business that you're in.
You know, Sandeep, you talked about how technology is actually a driver of deflation. And in a world of AI, etc., what does that then eventually mean as far as pricing is concerned? And what can be the levers that you can capitalize on to ensure that pricing holds?
Well, I think in many respects, what AI can enable us to do, and this is what I was talking about, in terms of AI driving automation, making businesses more productive, and thereby making things a lot more efficient in terms of how we run our businesses.
Okay, you know, you talked about your priorities, and hybrid cloud is, of course, a priority as far as the India market is concerned. What's the growth that you have seen over the past 12 months, and what is it that we can expect from here on? It's a fiercely competitive landscape as well.
Absolutely. Now, look, I think if we look around the world, or even in India, right, I think only about 25+% of workloads that can move to the cloud have actually moved to the cloud. So we will continue to see a transition to cloud properties. Now, what is interesting is that at any given point in time, for any business, they will be operating either, with some of their workloads on on-prem systems as well as multiple clouds. This is where the power of hybrid cloud becomes really important, so that through that hybrid cloud platform, which we have enabled using our Red Hat acquisition, right, and the Red Hat platform that we use for hybrid cloud, it enables clients to move their applications and their data seamlessly across these different cloud platforms as well as their on-premise systems. And that is the power that we see with hybrid cloud. We have already, if I talk globally, we have seen double-digit growth in our hybrid cloud business that we have been driving, and that is something which we continue to see moving forward.
And I want to go back again to the global picture and link that back to what we are seeing here in India. And for instance, even as far as IBM is concerned, you haven't provided a detailed guidance either as far as your earnings release is concerned, with the exception of saying that revenue is likely to be in mid-single digits in constant currency. Is India today uniquely positioned in comparison to what you are seeing in some of the other large international markets that IBM services?
So look, I will say that IBM India is very much a part of IBM's growth engine. And in India, I will say that we have actually seen record growth over the last 5 quarters in the significant double digits. And we are continuing to see that happen as we move forward.
Okay, record double-digit growth, and you expect that to continue to happen here in India. One of the other things that India has done for IBM is deliver on patent filings, Sandeep, and I want to understand from you where things currently stand on that front, because for the first time, I think, in many decades, IBM has lost the top spot in annual U.S. patent filings. So, what do you foresee on that front? Is there a review of what's going on?
So India continues to be a driver for innovation within the IBM company. We have our research labs here. We will be actually completing 25 years of IBM research in India, and we are celebrating that in the month of April with some significant events. And the growth story is fueled through the innovation that we drive in India. I think as we have messaged to the market, we have stopped using patent count as a way and looking at it as a way for innovation. And we will continue to drive innovation. We will continue to lead our work in innovation, both through India as well as our research labs around the world.
So what are you most excited when we talk about innovation, and specifically coming back to the issue of generative AI? And you said that, we need to look beyond just ChatGPT and Bard, but how are you incorporating that into the current way that you're operating and the way that you're reaching out to clients?
Absolutely. So let me start off, and I'm probably paraphrasing this, but our Honorable Finance Minister recently said that we need to make AI work for India. And what does that mean? So let me give you a couple of examples. We are continuing to do a ton of work in the AI space with our clients in India. And just to give you two very specific examples, one, we are doing some work with a government agency where we have actually been able to deliver a 50 times ROI to that agency through the about 43 AI models that we've built and infused into their day-to-day work. It has actually resulted in almost $5 billion worth of fraud that has been detected through that, and which continues to proliferate itself and extremely successful. That's enabling our government. Another example is for a major steel manufacturer where we are building AI models to help model the whole working of a blast furnace and seeing how you can monitor that remotely through AI models where you can't actually put someone into a blast furnace. So this is a way of looking at models and enabling the control and calibration of the blast furnace through AI models. So this is the way we can actually drive automation and build intelligence into the workflow that augments human intelligence and makes the work a lot more productive.
Sandeep, let me end by asking you talked about the government as a client that you're currently working with. You also talked about a steel company as a client that you're currently working with. In terms of what the pipeline, order book pipeline looks like at this point in time, are there any sectors in specific that you are most confident about in terms of onboarding clients and customers?
So clearly, financial services has been a major driver for us. But in addition to that, we continue to do work with a lot of manufacturing as well as retail clients. I mean, today, if I think about it, 2 major telcos are clients of ours. 9 out of the 10 banks actually operate on IBM systems. About 2/3 of the milk production and distribution in India happens through IBM systems. And so we are very much inculcated into the core fabric of the core industries that power India on a day-to-day basis.
Well, powering the India growth story, and you're hoping that the growth story itself will continue to accelerate from here on, and that is what you're hoping to capitalize on as well. Sandeep, always a pleasure. Appreciate you joining us here on CNBC-TV18 on Business 360. We wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you, Shireen.
Well, we will take a break here on Business 360. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to CNBC-TV18. The news continues. We're back in a moment on the other side.